Hey, how you doing? I hope you had a Merry Christmas or whatever the holiday that you are celebrating. Looking forward to a new year. I thought I'll just catch up on some movies that I watched and um, yeah, given that that's the format, that's what I'll be doing this video, and then I'm thinking of doing a like greatest hits thinking looking back top three style of video, just because it feels right to do around New Year's. And then I'm gonna talk about the in the next video. um, yeah, I'm gonna talk about the French comic, the series that I wrote. I wrote, no, I read it. I didn't wrote any French. Damn, this is going great. Um, and then yeah, there's a few videos planned. For this one, I'll be talking about three movies. I'll be talking about Mr. Monk's Last Case, Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget, and Leave the World Behind. Mr. Monk's Last Case is a movie. Funny enough, it follows up or it kind of concludes one of my favorite TV shows or series that I actually started rewatching like January, but then stopped doing other thing. I was rewatching while I played um, Star Wars: The Old Republic. I am a huge fan of the Mr. Monk series. I really enjoy them. I think they're nice. I think they're great. They are detective, so usually there's a crime, often a murder, needs to be solved, and I think the way that it's presented, it's really good. Like you can solve the crimes along with the detective Adrian Monk, which is what I appreciate. He'll point out clues that you could have seen if you were keen, if you um, paid attention to details. So I really appreciate that. So you can imagine, I'll just tell you, my big surprise, because I don't really follow. Um, I should finish the first sentence. My big surprise when I saw that there was a Mr. Monk movie available on, I think it was the Peacock streaming service. Yeah, I don't follow, or at least I try not to follow. I don't make an effort of following movie news, as in, yeah, what movies are being made. Uh, of course, I can't help it, and I don't mind it. But I like to be surprised. Like I also don't watch trailers if I can help it. If I know that I'm going to watch the movies, I'm definitely not watching trailers. Usually, I'll just watch trailers or skip through them to see, just get a gist of genre and tone. Um, so yeah, so I'm open up for surprise. Like I don't really do follow and care about these news where they say, oh, they casted this guy. There's gonna be a movie by this person playing this character. Um, Being a huge Marvel fan and Disney fan through the years, Star Wars, there has of course been a lot of that, where they just downright tell you years in advance, and I don't like it. Um, so I can be surprised, like stuff like Mr. Monk, Last Case, the movie. I'll get to it, so I promise. It, this movie didn't need to be made because, unlike other TV shows, the TV shows Mr. Monk concludes perfectly. It's a perfect series, um, and concludes has a nice ending. Um, but the movie's still good. Like, just be upfront. Like, I haven't just spent a lot of minutes talking about anything else. I'd like this movie. So as a Mr. Monk fan, I like this movie. It doesn't ruin the series as some other cases, unfortunately. Firefly had the effect of doing. No, the Mr. Monk movie picks up a lot later. Um, of course, there's a new case, and we kind of just catch up with a lot of the characters. Not all of them, unfortunately. I'm not sure, uh, because I don't follow, you know, um, movie news or yeah stuff like that. So I don't know if the actors and actresses are even alive. I assume they are. So I don't know why they weren't all available, but most of them return. Um, and the movie also um, concludes really well. So I don't think there's a second movie coming up. Um, but I really enjoyed it. I'm happy they made this one. It's a the whole case kind of solving the murder kind of takes a bit of a um, backseat to the personal aspect of the story. If you know about Adrian Monk, he has a lot of psychosis, I think is the word. He has phobias. He has things with like touching and germs and stuff like that. Um, and that's actually, I think, the main theme or driving point uh, in this story is that he has um, Mr. Monk has decided to end it, and he has planned it in his very monk way. But then this murder kind of gets in the way, and that was a really strong personal note. I think it was a bold choice. The movie even ends with uh, a what do you say, like a recommendation. It sounds wrong, but a notifying saying if you are struggling with these thoughts, call the suicide hotline. So in a way, sitting here thinking about it, Mr. Monk's Last Case is kind of like if you ever watched A Man Named Ove. That's the original Swedish version. The American version with Tom Hanks, which I haven't watched, is called A Man Named Otto. And I think I just briefly talk about it. I haven't seen the Tom Hanks version, not out of spite or something. I'm sure it's great. It's just the Swedish version. I've seen that. That's the original. It's perfect. um, it's a in the American version, of course, it's about a man named Otto. In Swedish is Ove. I don't know why you can't. Americans, why can't you say Ove? Doesn't really matter. But Ove has decided to kill himself. But with this, but things keep getting in the way. Like then he needs to put the ladder away, and he needs to make some phone calls and tidy up. And it's a comedy. Do you call it dark humor, black humor? It's a theory. No, it's not a theory, but it's funny because he keeps everything has to be perfect. They're kind of similar. To take this as a surprise insert, I'm pretty sure the American one is good too. If you can't stand listening to Swedish people or reading subtitles, you should watch that. So the different tone, there's not that much humor in Mr. Monk's Last Case, um, but it was still a very great film. I'm happy they made it. I'm happy I watched it. I enjoyed it a lot. And if you haven't watched the series, you should watch the series. The movie will not really explain stuff for you. But I can only recommend the series. I was planning on making a video once I got through it, so that'll be in a few years. So take this as a heads up. Mr. Monk, the series, and Mr. Monk's Last Case, they're good. If there's anything that I like just as much as Mr. Monk, it's animation in general, but definitely Artman with the stop motion, or some might even call it claymation. I use the term stop motion. Don't let that separate it. And Artman has released Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget, sequel to the first Chicken Run, which damn is a good movie. A serious movie with themes, if you know it, like chickens in a chicken farm, but themed or dressed up. I don't know what to say, but with strong uh, design threats and the from World War II concentration camps settings. I remember really loving Chicken Run, and Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget is not bad. It's just not quite as serious, which it doesn't have to be. It's Mel Gibson is not back, which I'm not sure what reasons. I don't follow video. I don't follow these sort of news. I think it's just maybe he didn't want to, or maybe they thought he was being a bit silly recent years. I don't know. Um, didn't really bother me. It was just something I noticed because, of course, he was at that time also the big big movie star saying, "Hey, it's an odd man, it's a serious movie because we have Mel Gibson," stuff like that. Um, there's good quality in Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget. It wasn't that surprising of a story, the overall plot beat, but I was engaged. I enjoyed it. You can definitely watch it for all ages. There's just like one chicken that gets to fulfill the fates of most chickens, if you know what I mean. But I think people of all, yeah, I think small children can watch it. Like it's on Netflix. The animation is great. There's a great behind the scenes documentary that you can watch afterwards, because of course full of spoilers, where they show puppets, how they made them, and it's so time consuming, and it's really great. T- yeah, Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget. It has some humor in it, because it's yeah, kind of like other animation Aardman movies. There's some jokes, there's some puns. Uh, it's mainly a passing of the torch kind of movie. Um, I kind of like that the way they build on the first one is that some of the skills that we know the chickens already have, they just can perform here with no difficulty, so you can focus on something else. It's not another breakout movie, it's technically a break in. Maybe you can even call it like a heist movie. Um, I feel like it needs to, if um, let's talk about in Thor Ragnarok. No, not Thor Ragnarok. The Thor Love and Thunder. I saw some criticism about how the male protagonist Thor became like the butt of every joke. That he became more stupid than in these other movies. He became less intelligent, less able to survive on his own, less dependent. Really much like the what do you call the setup guy at the butt of every joke. And the rooster here um, in Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget, it's kind of taking the same route. I feel like there's a lot of jokes at the expense of the roosters, of the rooster. There's actually two, but Rocky, the rooster. There's a lot of jokes at his expense. Jokes of how he's stupid, how he's silly, how he gets lost, needs to be saved. Um, so that's in there. I noticed it. I didn't find it too distracting. Um, so stuff like that is a big issue for you, then it's in there if you pick up on it. Otherwise, Chicken Run Dawn of Nuggets is a very recommendable movie for me. I had a very good time. Now, the last movie I want to talk about it today is called Leave the World Behind with Julia Roberts. I saw it on Netflix. And this is one of the movies that we can just have fun with, because the movie is bad. The movie is terrible. The movie is 2 hours something, 2 hours 20. Every minute is a waste of your time. Every minute is an insult to your intelligence as a movie watcher, as a human being. The story goes nowhere, really slow, and has a terrible ending. I say a lot. Uh, I'm very, let's say, affected by endings. If an ending is good, then I can enjoy a somewhat poor, otherwise poor movie. But if the ending is bad, it really doesn't matter how good the rest of the movie is. The ending will drag it down. Leave the world. Sorry about that. Leave the world behind is downright terrible. It's slow. The setting is a family goes on like a extended weekend at another house, like an Airbnb. They rent a house. Then the original owners come back, him and his daughter, and they're like, oh, there was a power outage in New York, I think, a blackout or whatever. We do, and they got scared, and then um, so they fleed back to their old house for some reason, and now they want to stay there. And that, for some reason, has is a conflict. The adults just can't talk about it seriously or be like, that's understandable. They the TV's out. There's something going on. They suspect a hacker attack, but or cyber attack, I think they call it. Doesn't matter because the movie is not gonna tell you. The movie's not gonna show you. It only affects that these people are. The only effect of it is these people are in this house, but the house has power. They just don't have signals on their cell phones. They don't really have a problem with food, but ah, this is terrible. This is really bad storytelling. This is a terrible experience to sit through. At some point, we had these disaster movies, and we all saw it from like helicopter bird's eye view or from the control room. Like we had all the information. If you think of like original or maybe even current Godzilla, Twister, Armageddon, and stuff like that, very well explained. Everyone's enlightened. Like this is what's gonna happen. Now it's happening. This is how we're gonna react. You see that movie. Then at some point, some movie makers decide, and that was a brilliant decision to say, okay, but how about we shoot this from the people on the street, the people on the bunker who doesn't have all the insight. They just experience this alien attack with no forewarning, with no knowledge, with also no way of combating it, and they are just in danger and have to try and solve themselves. They are not, strictly speaking, the main characters. That's a brilliant idea. That's what this movie is going for. It does it terribly because the result is we don't know what's happening. Nothing leads to nothing leads to anywhere. There's some noises suddenly that are not explained. There's some deers behaving very weirdly that other animals in general that we are not explained. The movie takes a long time to transition from the first floor to the basement because it goes through all the floors as if the layout of this house is important or will be important later. Maybe for like a shootout or hiding or something. It's not. It goes nowhere. It's just a stylistic choice to slow things to a crawl. I can feel myself getting older watching this movie. This movie's terrible. It has Julia Roberts in it. She's okay. She's not the reason why they're terrible. None of the actors really are terrible, but their character motivation is weird, unexplained, not existent. The way they talk is a terrible movie. You are better off doing literally anything else, even if you just stare out the window. Yeah. So leave this movie behind. Ha ha! I can make obvious jokes too. Leave the world behind. So these were the movies that I wanted to talk to you today. Hopefully I'll see you around in the next video. Thank you for hanging out with me.